Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the class. In the previous class, we were discussing about the scope of political theory, and under this scope of political theory, we have seen that values, ideals, concepts, and principles are the most important part of the study of political theory. They provide the base for the complete study of political theory. And we have also seen that because of the importance of values and ideals, what we find that in the constitution of many countries, these values and ideals have been enshrined. And we have also discussed that there is a basic difference between a politician and a political thinker. Political thinkers are those who give their ideas and views regarding the different ideals and values of political theory. They are the people who propound so many principles and concepts. And on the other hand, what we find that the politicians are those people who are actually using the power and who are actually giving a practical giving practical form to the ideals and values of the political theorist. Then we have also seen that it is not our function is not finished when we say that we have enshrined the values and ideals in the constitution and now everything is okay. No, that is never the case. There is always we find that there is always difference in the actual situation which is prevailing in a country and what is provided by the constitution. And this we can understand by the example of our own country. Even after 70 years of implementation of the constitution, we are not able to achieve the ideals and values which are given in the preamble of the constitution. So we can't say that these ideals and values can ever become irrelevant. They are always relevant and they always provide us goal. They are the goal towards which we are trying to reach. And then we have seen that under political theory we also study the interpretation of various rights and freedoms, because in political theory there is a mention of any freedom or right, but this freedom or right is not final, because there will be different circumstances in the actual practice, and according to different circumstances there will be need to interpret the rights, there will be need to interpret the freedoms. So interpretation is very much important. Then the next thing which we study under political theory is that according to changing time, according to changing situation, we find new dimensions of freedom. And not only new dimensions are coming, but also we find that new threats are also coming. So all these are included in the scope of political theory. And as I told you, scope means what do we study under political theory. These are the things. Three important points have been discussed in this regard, and these are the things which we study under political theory. So we have completed up to this, and now we will see a new subsection, and that is putting political theory into practice. So now we will see how political theory is put into practice, because very many times it is said that political theory is only about principles and rules and ideals and values that which only remain in the books. But now we will see how this political theory is put into practice. In this textbook, I am starting from here 1.3. Okay, it's page number 8. In this textbook, we confine ourselves to one aspect of political theory, that which deals with the origin, meaning and significance of political ideas that we are familiar with, such as freedom, equality, citizenship, justice, development, nationalism, secularism, and so on. So, according to your standard, I told you yesterday also, you are supposed to study only these ideals which are given in separate chapters in your book. Okay, equality, freedom, social justice, rights, citizenship, nationalism, then secularism. Okay, and you have to study the origin, meaning and significance of these political ideals. Okay, now when we begin a debate or argument on any topic, we usually ask what does it mean and how does it matter. So the first thing about any values or ideas, we would like to know what does it mean and how does it matter, what is its importance. Okay, political theorists have asked what is freedom or equality and provided diverse definition. As I told you yesterday that there is not one definition of equality or freedom or rights or justice. Whatever values and ideas we study under political theory, these values and ideals are defined by political theorists in many different ways. And we have also discussed that like in science and in mathematics, there is only one definition of one thing. You can't define triangle in more than one ways. There is only one way to define a triangle. But in political science or in humanities stream, all the under humanities stream, in all the subjects, there are so many definitions are given of so many things, but the definition is not confined to one. There will be any number of definition, and all the definitions are true. We can't say that only one definition is right. All the definitions are correct in their own sense. So what is this? This is because our subject, the subject which we are studying, the focus or the subject matter of this stream is human being, and the nature of human being is highly unpredictable. We cannot predict anything for sure about human nature. So it's very subjective matter, and that is the reason there is a lack of objectivity in these subjects. These subjects are, I will define equality according to my own priorities, according to my own preferences. and someone else will define the same concept according to his or her own preferences. So there will be many number of definitions for one values or ideals. Okay. Now this is because terms like equality concern our relationship with other human beings rather than with things. We are not studying about matter. Matter is not our subject matter. Our subject matter is not a non-living thing. Our subject matter is human being, who is a living thing. Human beings, unlike things, have opinions on issues like equality, and many opinions need to be understood and harmonized. All opinions are true in their own sense. We can't say that the opinion given by some political theorist is completely wrong. No, some element of truth must be there, and the person who has given the definition, he is giving more importance to that element only. So that is the only thing. How do we do about doing this? Let us begin with our common experience of equality in different places. Now we will consider about equality in practical life. Then you will understand why there is so many definitions of a single concept, and all the definitions are true. Okay. So you may have noticed that people often jump the queue in shops or doctor's waiting room or government offices. Sometimes those who do so are told to get back in line, and we feel glad, isn't it? Whenever you go to a doctor's clinic or in a government office or in any shop, you find there is a long queue, and you are also in the queue, you are waiting for your turn patiently, but then you find someone who has came late, and now he wants to be the first person. ऐसा होता है ना, हम लोग इस चीज़ को कई बार फील करते हैं कि कोई ऐसा है जो लेट से आया है, बट उसको ये लग रहा है कि जल्दी से मतलब उसका काम हो जाए. वो लाइन द रूल ऑफ द क्यू इज़ नॉट बीइंग फॉलोड बाय हिम, और वो सबसे आगे काउंटर पे चला जाता है. देन व्हाट वी फाइंड मेनी टाइम्स, whoever is the in charge of that place asks the person to get back in queue, and when that person is asked to get back in queue, we feel very glad. Why we feel glad? Because we were very unhappy when we were seeing that he came late and he is going first. हम क्यों खड़े हैं तब से? हम क्या बेवकूफ़ हैं? Isn't it? ऐसे ही हमारे दिमाग में आती है चीज़ें ना. तो जब हम उसको देखते हैं कि उसको वापस भेज दिया गया है, तो हम सेटिस्फाइड हो जाते हैं कि जैसे हम वेट कर रहे हैं वैसे वो भी वेट करेगा. क्यों हम ऐसा सोचते हैं? क्योंकि हम ये सोचते हैं कि वी ऑल आर इक्वल. जैसे मुझे वेट करने का, मैं जैसे वेट कर रहा हूँ, वैसे ही वो भी वेट करे, क्योंकि हम सबको एक जैसा काम करना है. वी ऑल आर इक्वल. वो कोई अलग नहीं है कि वो देर से आएगा और सीधे चला जाएगा. ओके, दिस इज द फीलिंग ऑफ इक्वालिटी. Sometimes they get ahead and we feel cheated, and sometimes it also happens that someone who came late and he goes first and nobody is there to ask him to get back in the queue. He gets the whatever work for whatever work he has come, he get his work done and go back. और हम जो लाइन में खड़े हैं वो उसको देखते रह जाते हैं. ऐसा भी होता है. तो इन दैट केस व्हाट वी फील चीटेड, कि हमें चीट किया जा रहा है. हमें तो लाइन में खड़ा कर दिया गया, और जो देर से आया वो सीधा अपना काम करवा लिया. तो ये हमारे साथ चीटिंग हो रही है. दिस इज चीटिंग. We resent this because we all want equal opportunity to get goods and services for which we are paying. अगर ऐसा होता है तो फिर क्या होता है? कई लोग ऐसे होते हैं उस क्यू में लगे हुए, हर कोई नहीं, but there are many who start shouting and quarreling, and that is not bad, that is good. We must fight for injustice. We must fight against injustice. This is injustice. We all are there to pay. We are not getting anything in free. We are also paying for the goods or services. For example, we are waiting in a shop. I am also there to purchase the goods, and the person who came late, he was also to purchase the good, but he, without following the rule of queue, he went first and purchased the good. So I am also there to pay the amount. हमें भी सामान चाहिए, हमारे पास भी, हम भी उतना ही पे करेंगे जितना वो पे कर रहा है. Then why this inequality? We must have equality of opportunity. This is called equality of opportunity. सबको बराबर अवसर मिलने चाहिए. Okay? So when we reflect on our experience, we understand that equality means equal opportunity for all. So in our opinion, what is equality? The most important thing about equality is equal opportunity for all. And what is the basis of this equal opportunity for all? Because we all are equal, we all are paying the same amount, we all want the same good, so we all should be treated equally, we all should get equal opportunity. At the same time, if there are separate counters for the old and disabled, we understand that such special treatment may be justified. In many places when you go for this kind of work, like for booking of ticket, you find there is two counters. There are two counters. One counter is for all the people, and the other counter is only for those who are old and disabled. So when you see these two counters, you don't feel dissatisfied, you don't feel any kind of resentment, you don't feel that why this inequality, why there is separate counter for old and disabled. You don't feel like this. Why you don't feel like this? Because you know and you accept it that the people who are old and the people who are disabled, they need some special treatment because they are having some physical problem, so they can't be equated with other people. They need some special treatment. So right now we were talking about equal opportunity for all, and now we are accepting this special treatment. So when we are giving someone or some group a special treatment, it means that we are not giving equal opportunity to all, but we are not dissatisfied with this situation, because we know there cannot be equality among disabled and abled people. There cannot be equality among old and young people. So in this situation, we are ready to accept unequal opportunities. We are ready to accept unequal treatment. But we also notice every day that many poor people cannot go to the shop or to a doctor because they have no money to pay. This also we experience in our life, that there are many poor people in our society who are not able to go to the shop or to the doctor when they are in actual need of the service of a doctor, or they are in need of some goods or services. So some of these people could be day laborers who are cutting stones or lugging bricks for long hours. If we are sensitive, we feel that it is not fair that in a society some members cannot even have their basic needs satisfied. Basic needs are the basic needs. We can't live, we can't survive without basic needs. And in our society, there are some people who are not able to fulfill their basic needs. We come to realize that equality must involve some kind of fairness, so that people are not unduly exploited and disadvantaged by economic factor. See, this type of situation is prevailing in society. We don't feel good if we are sensitive. All people are not like this, but sensitive people, especially people who are in this humanities stream, they are our subject is such that it makes us sensitive. If you are not sensitive, then there is no utility of studying this subject. The main aim of social science, from which this humanities stream has come out, the main aim of this humanities stream and the social science subject is to make a human being sensitive towards the needs of other people, so that we can make this society a better place. This is the duty, this is the responsibility of a person who is pursuing humanities stream. So it is expected from the students and all the people who are involved with this stream that they must be sensitive. So we don't feel good by seeing these poor people, that they are not even able to achieve to get the basic needs of their life. So at least they must get the basic needs of their life. They must be in such a situation that they should be able to have these basic needs. And if they are not earning that much that they can satisfy their basic need, then there must be some arrangements. There must be some arrangements done by the government. So equality must involve some kind of fairness. There must be some kind of fairness, so that people are not unduly exploited. It is not their fault if they are not able to earn this much, that they are not able to fulfill the basic needs of their life. It is not their fault. And this is the consequence of circumstances. They may not be able to go to school themselves because of poverty. So because of poverty, they should not be exploited. There must be some kind of fairness. So in this discussion, we are seeing that so many different dimensions are coming. First of all, we are thinking that equal opportunity for all. Equality means equal opportunity for all. Then we see that special treatment is also important, because all people are not equal. Some are old, some are young, some are able, some are disabled. Then we see that there is a difference in the economic condition of the people. Some are rich, some are poor, so poor that they are not able to fulfill the basic needs of their life. So in this situation, we say that some kind of fairness is required. So now Consider the fact there are many children who cannot go to school because they have to work to feed themselves. In our society, just now we have discussed this, that in our constitution child labor has been prohibited, and after the amendment of the constitution, now right to education has also been given to the people. Free and compulsory education is required up to the age of 14. It is compulsory, free and compulsory education. But still we find in our society there are so many children who are engaged in work. And why are they engaged in work? They are engaged in work because they have to feed themselves. And not only they have to feed themselves, but they have to feed their families also. So, most girl students in poor household are pulled out of school to care for their younger siblings while parents go to work. In the poor household, what happens is that the girl child is not given opportunity for higher studies. Why? Because she has to stay at home to look after the siblings, the younger siblings, because both the parents, mother and father, both are going for work. No one is there in the house to look after the younger kids. So the girl child has to stay back at home. She has to stop her studies. Even though the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to primary education for all, this right remains formal. Just now I told you, we have given this right, free and compulsory education up to the age of 14, but still this kind of situation is prevailing in our country. Again, we may feel that the government should do more for such children and their parents so that they are enabled to go to school. So, whose fault is this? If they are poor, if they are not able to send their kids to the school, whose fault is this? This is not their fault. This is the fault of the circumstances, and we expect from the government that it must by only making the provision in the constitution is not sufficient. Government must ensure that everyone must go to the school, and for that the government must do some special work for them. Thus you may see that our idea of equality is quite complex. Now we come to the conclusion. We are seeing all these situations, different situations, and we see that at one time we are saying equal opportunity for all, at one time we are saying a special treatment, at one time we are saying a kind of fairness must be there. So what is equality? We are confused. हमें नहीं पता चल रहा है किसे हम इक्वालिटी कहें. When we are in a queue or playground, we want equal treatment. If we suffer from some disability, we want special provisions, isn't it? If we are suffering from any kind of disability, we want that there must be some special treatment for these disabled people. When we cannot even afford basic needs, equal opportunity is not enough. When in our society there is a section of people who are not able to fulfill the basic needs of their life, in that situation, if we are talking about equal opportunity for all, that equal opportunity for all is meaningless in a society where everyone is not able to fulfill the basic needs of their life. If a person is not able to fulfill the basic need of his life, what is the utility of equality of opportunity? He will not be able to go to the school. He will not be able to send his or his children to the school. Then what is the utility of equal opportunity? So the first thing is what? To provide basic needs, to provide basic amenities, basic facilities to all. We must be enabled to go to school or get help through proactive measures such as fair distribution of resources. Thus, this requires that some agency be made responsible to ensure fairness. So what we feel that there is need to take some proactive measures. The government must take some proactive measures so that there should be fair distribution of resources. Fair distribution of resources means everyone should get the goods and services, and this should be done according to their economic status. And this means that there must be some agency which should be made responsible to ensure fairness, that there is not unfair treatment is given to the people. Okay, so this is the reason we have many definitions, because the meaning of equality is dependent on the context. We can't define equality in vacuum. According to the circumstance, what is the context, what is the situation, what is the circumstance, according to that we can define equality. We started with what it meant for ourselves and then proceeded to consider others like the poor, the disadvantaged, the senior citizens, etc. We discovered many layers of meaning. We have been doing political theory without realizing it. This is political theory, and it's very, very interesting. If you have interest, then only, and interest होना natural है if you are a sensitive person, and sensitivity is also one of our quality. So just try to be empathetic, try to feel the requirements and needs of others, and then only we can make a good society, and that is our motto. So that's all for today, and we will meet in the next class.